Hi, today I'm going to show you how to solve problem 26 from the 2018 MathKangaroo grades 5 to 6. Here's the problem. Peter cut a long board that was 8 centimeters wide into 9 pieces. One was a square and the rest were rectangles. Then he put all the pieces together as shown in the picture. How long was the board? So Peter started with a board that looked something like this. And we know this length, the width, was 8 centimeters. We don't know how long the length was. And Peter cut the board, and we don't know how exactly Peter cut the board, but it would make sense if it was in something like this, and the width of all the pieces was the same. So there'd be a square and then some rectangles. And we know there were 9 pieces total, so maybe something like this. And we know that all the pieces can be fit together in a square like this. We know that they all have an 8 centimeter width. That's what we kind of assumed in the first part. And so if we look here, we can start by trying to identify the square. Because since it's a square, it's going to have an 8 centimeter length and width, since both sides are the same. So we can see that this here looks like a square, and there's only one piece that looks like a square. The others, here we can see kind of clearly that they're not squares, and also they seem to be congruent. So you can just have one of them be a square. So this one's going to be the square. We can see that it's the square, and we will mark this side here as 8 centimeters, and this side here as 8 centimeters. That's what we know. And then the other two sides are also 8 centimeters, of course. I will mark them too. Then, if we look at the other rectangles, we can try to identify where the widths of those are, and those are also going to be 8 centimeters. So, if we look at this length here, that's going to be the width of this rectangle. The length this can't be the width because it's going to be more than 8 centimeters. This has to be 8 centimeters, and I'm just gonna mark all the lengths in blue. And then if we look at this one, same thing. This can't be the width. This is the width here, these two. And then the same here and here. And now we can keep going to the longer rectangles. And we see that, again, this is going to be longer than 8, since we know this is 8. This is going to be the width. This will have 8 centimeters, and so will this on the other side, and then similarly for the other 3. These are going to be the widths with 8 centimeters. So now that we've marked all the sides that are 8 centimeters, what we actually need to know is the length of all those rectangles, because it's going to be the sum of all the lengths of all the rectangles that gives us the length of the board. And we can do this by looking at some lengths, and we can notice that they're made up of some smaller 8 centimeter lengths. For example, if we look at this length here, this length of this rectangle, we see this is 8 centimeters and this is 8 centimeters. So together, and this length here is 16 centimeters, and so is this one. Again, here we have 8 centimeters and 8 centimeters, so this whole length is 16, and this length is 16. And the same thing is true here and here. Now we want to know what the lengths of the big rectangles are here. And if we look at them, we see that there is 16 here, 8 here, and 8 here, which is a total of 32 centimeters. And that'll be the same here. Again, here we have 16, 8, and 8, so that's 32. These, and then the same is true for the others. So now we know all the lengths of the rectangles, and the sum of all those lengths is going to give us the length of the board. So we can look through all the 9 pieces and write down their length. So for the square, the length is going to be 8. And that's because the width is 8, so the length is the same. Then for these ones here, the next, these 4 all have a length of 16. So we have 8 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16 for those 4. And the biggest ones here all have a length of 32, and there's another 4 of those. So we'll have plus 32. And all of this together is going to give us a sum of 200 centimeters. So the answer is D. Thank you.